I was sitting across from Mr. Jenkins, a spry 78-year-old with a love for gardening and a lifelong sweet tooth. He had come in complaining of something I hear far too often: "Doc, my legs just aren't what they used to be. I used to kneel down for hours pulling weeds. Now I can barely make it across the living room without this burning ache in my calves." I asked him to walk me through a typical day, what he ate, how he moved, how he slept. Everything seemed fairly balanced, until he mentioned his fruit bowl. "Every morning, Doc," he said proudly, "I start with a nice tall glass of orange juice. A bowl of sliced bananas. Maybe some grapes if I've got 'em. Nothing better than starting with nature's candy. Right?" He was stunned when I gently told him the truth. Not all sugars are harmless. In fact, some are sabotaging your circulation, and your legs, every single day. 1. Not all sugars are harmless, the circulation trap. Let me tell you something many doctors won't explain clearly, especially not in a 15-minute visit. As we age, our bodies lose some of the buffer they once had against sugar. What might have been harmless in your 30s or 40s could be quietly chipping away at your strength, balance, and circulation in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. And the worst part? The sugar in fruits, yes, even the ones you thought were healthy, can be among the sneakiest culprits. See, most folks over 60 believe they're making the right choice by swapping out cookies or cake for a banana or a few slices of pineapple. But what they don't realize is that the natural sugars in these fruits, especially fructose, are still sugars. And sugar doesn't care if it came from a donut or a mango once it hits your bloodstream. What matters is how your aging body processes it, and the truth is, it's not processing it well. Let's break it down. When you eat a high-sugar fruit, like grapes or watermelon, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. Your body reacts by releasing insulin to try to bring those levels down. Now here's the kicker: over time, with repeated sugar spikes, your cells stop responding to insulin as efficiently. This is called insulin resistance. And it's a silent thief of circulation. Insulin resistance leads to inflammation. And inflammation damages the delicate blood vessels that feed your legs, your calves, your feet, even your hips. Think of your circulatory system like an intricate network of garden hoses. When those hoses are young and fresh, water flows through easily. But as they age, sugar builds up in the form of glycation. That's when sugar molecules bind to proteins in your blood vessels, making them stiff and narrow. It's like trying to push water through a straw that's been squeezed tight. Your legs, furthest from your heart, are the first to suffer. Less blood flow means less oxygen and nutrients. And over time, your muscles weaken, you get cramps, fatigue, even numbness. I've seen it in my clinic hundreds of times. Seniors who walk in thinking they just need more calcium, or should stretch more. But when we look deeper, when we run blood work, analyze circulation, and look at their diets, it almost always leads back to one core issue. They're flooding their systems with the wrong kind of sugar every single day, without even realizing it. And here's something even more troubling. Fruit sugar doesn't just harm circulation, it also affects your nerves. Excess fructose gets converted into uric acid, and too much uric acid can inflame joints and irritate nerve endings. That's why so many seniors complain of burning or tingling in their legs and feet. It's not always diabetes causing that. Sometimes, it's a steady diet of fruit, yes, fruit, that's causing silent inflammation around nerves. Now, I'm not saying you need to stop eating all fruit. Not at all. Fruit has vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber that your body needs. But you need to be selective. Because some fruits, like berries and papayas, are gentle on your blood sugar and even help reduce inflammation. Others, like bananas, grapes, oranges, and mangoes, are like sugar grenades for aging bodies. They spike your insulin, stiffen your arteries, and spark inflammation in your joints. And it's not just what you eat, it's how often you eat it. Many older adults snack on fruit throughout the day. A banana mid-morning, some grapes after lunch, watermelon in the evening. It adds up. That constant sugar trickle means your insulin never gets a rest. Your body stays in a chronic state of low-level inflammation. And your legs, your beautiful, hard-working legs, start to weaken. That's why you may notice your balance isn't what it used to be. Or why you feel like your legs are heavy by mid-afternoon. It's not just age, it's your diet silently working against you. Let me take you back to Mr. Jenkins. After we made just a few changes, swapping his daily banana for half an avocado, replacing his grape snack with a handful of blueberries, and limiting orange juice to just twice a week, he came back 6 weeks later with tears in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "I walked through the entire farmer's market without my cane. That's the power of understanding the circulation trap. That's the power of getting smarter about sugar. So here's my challenge to you. Take a week and track your fruit intake. Write it down. Notice how often you're eating high-sugar fruits and how your legs feel afterward. Are you swelling more at the ankles? Do you have more cramps at night? Do your knees ache by evening? These symptoms are not random, they're signals. Your body is speaking to you. The question is, are you listening? In the next part of this video, we'll explore the specific fruits that are most dangerous, and the ones that are safe and even beneficial. But now you know the first truth: not all sugars are harmless. And if you want to keep walking strong, gardening, dancing, and living fully well into your 80s and 90s, it's time to rethink the sugar you're eating from the fruit bowl. Because if your legs are fading, it might not be your age, it might be your orange juice. 2. Acids and aging joints, a hidden aggravator. Let me take you back to a quiet Tuesday morning in my clinic, where I met with Ms. Dolores, a 73-year-old retired teacher who still volunteered twice a week at the local library. She shuffled into my office, wincing with every step. "Doctor," she said, lowering herself into the chair with effort, "my knees are on fire. I haven't had a good night's sleep in weeks, and my morning walks feel like I'm carrying buckets of concrete strapped to my legs." Now Dolores had always been careful about her diet. She avoided red meat, fried foods, and too much salt. "I eat healthy," she said. "I always start my day with fresh oranges, maybe some pineapple, and I make sure to have my apple before bed." On the surface, her diet sounded like a model of healthy eating. But what she didn't realize, and what most people her age don't either, is that not all fruits are created equal. Especially when it comes to the delicate balance of acid and inflammation in aging joints. You see, as we age, our joints become less forgiving. Cartilage, which cushions our bones, thins out. Synovial fluid, the lubricant that lets joints glide smoothly, diminishes. And when you introduce too much acid into that already fragile system, you got a recipe for stiffness, swelling, and chronic discomfort. Here's where the surprise comes in. Many of the healthy fruits we love, like oranges, pineapples, green apples, and even tomatoes, are acidic. And over time, this acid load can aggravate the tissues around the joints, especially if there's already arthritis or inflammation lurking beneath the surface. Let me pause here and say, I'm not demonizing fruit, but I've spent over 30 years listening to the bodies of older adults. And I can tell you with confidence, acidic fruits can silently wear down your joints. Especially if eaten in large amounts or consumed daily without balance. Back to Dolores. I asked her to take a step back, not just from her pain, but from her plate. We talked through what acid does to an aging joint. Picture your joints like soft, well-oiled hinges. Now imagine pouring lemon juice on a rusty hinge every day. At first, nothing much happens, but slowly, day by day, that acid begins to corrode, to inflame, to irritate. That's what's happening inside many older adults who eat high-acid fruits without realizing how sensitive their bodies have become. To make it clear, here's what's going on at a deeper level. Acidic fruits like pineapple and oranges contain citric acid and ascorbic acid, compounds that, while beneficial in small doses for their vitamin C content, can trigger irritation in already inflamed tissues. Combine that with a lifetime of wear and tear, perhaps a little osteoarthritis, maybe a touch of old sports injury or years of hard labor, and suddenly, what used to be a refreshing snack is now stirring the pot of pain inside your knees, ankles, or hips. One of my most memorable cases was Mr. Hank, an 80-year-old former postal worker who took pride in walking 3 miles a day. But he came to me one winter saying his hip pain had flared up worse than ever. We ruled out infection, ruled out structural issues, and what remained was a puzzle, until I asked about his diet. He had developed a love for fresh grapefruit. Eating it almost every day after breakfast keeps me sharp and clean. Doc, he said, but grapefruit is among the most acidic fruits out there. Not only can it irritate the gut and joints, it also interacts with over 85 medications, especially statins. blood pressure drugs, and some antidepressants by inhibiting a key enzyme in the liver. This means the medication stays in the body longer, potentially amplifying side effects, including joint pain. We swapped out the grapefruit for papaya, a fruit that's low in acid and high in anti-inflammatory enzymes like papain. 2 weeks later, Hank's pain had subsided noticeably. "Doc," he said with a laugh, "I'm back to racing the grandkids up the driveway again." That's not a miracle, it's physiology finally working with him, not against him. Here's another story that stuck with me. Carolyn, a 76-year-old church pianist, came in with sore fingers. She thought it was just getting old, but it was interfering with her music. She'd been drinking apple cider vinegar daily and snacking on Granny Smith apples in the evening, both highly acidic choices. Her uric acid was elevated, and she had no idea why. We made simple swaps: pear slices instead of green apples, infused water with herbs instead of vinegar shots, and her finger flexibility came back. She cried the day she could play Beethoven again without wincing. These aren't isolated cases. I see them weekly. The story repeats in different bodies, with different fruits, but the core problem is the same: too much acid in a body that no longer buffers it well. Now you might ask, but doesn't the body regulate its own pH? Yes, it does, but as we age, our kidneys work less efficiently, and our ability to neutralize acid weakens. The bones and muscles begin to absorb some of that excess acid to protect vital organs, which leads to mineral loss: calcium, magnesium, potassium. And what happens when you lose those minerals? Your joints suffer, your bones weaken, your muscles cramp, and your legs, the pillars of your independence, start to feel like they're betraying you. That's why I tell all my senior patients, eat smart, not just healthy. You can't just assume that because it grows on a tree and has vitamins, it's good for you in every form. You have to think about how your body now responds to it. 20 years ago, you could eat an orange and feel fine. Today, that same orange might leave your knees feeling swollen by sundown. Instead, favor fruits with an alkaline or low-acid profile. Berries like blueberries and strawberries are fantastic. Papaya and mango, in small portions, are gentle on the joints and rich in enzymes that support digestion and inflammation control. Pears are soothing and won't spike your acidity or blood sugar. Avocados, while technically a fruit, are full of healthy fats and support joint lubrication. These are your allies. Let's not forget hydration. Acid and joint pain are worsened by dehydration. Seniors often forget to drink enough water, thinking tea or juice is enough. But without enough plain water, your body can't flush out acidic waste products. So yes, watching what fruits you eat matters, but so does drinking water to help your body balance what you do take in. In closing, let me speak from the heart. If your joints ache, if your legs feel stiff, or if your mornings are starting to feel like a battle just to get moving, don't brush it off as age alone. Look at your plate, look at your fruit bowl. Ask yourself, is what I'm eating soothing my body, or silently setting it on fire? Because that seemingly innocent orange, or that sweet green apple, might just be the hidden aggravator standing between you and the freedom to walk, dance, or kneel in the garden again. You deserve to feel light on your feet, not bogged down by pain that could be prevented with just a few smart choices. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll uncover the fruits that not only avoid harm, but actually heal. Because food isn't just fuel in your golden years. It's medicine, or it's poison. The choice is yours. Let me share with you a little story that I think perfectly captures what I mean by the portion trap. A few months ago, I met Mary, a lovely 72-year-old woman who loves her afternoon snack, especially grapes. Every day, without fail, she would sit down in her favorite chair with a big bowl of those little purple jewels, telling me, "Doc, they're so good, and they feel like a treat." What Mary didn't realize was that her treat was slowly working against her leg strength and overall mobility. Why? Because grapes are one of those fruits that are incredibly easy to overeat. And when you're not careful with portion size, those natural sugars add up quickly, more than most people realize. This is the portion trap, and it's a sneaky one. You see, as we age, our metabolism slows down, our bodies don't process sugar as efficiently, and our muscles need more care. But here's the catch, our brains still love sugar, and our eyes love colorful, sweet food that looks harmless. Like fruit, when you sit down with a bowl of grapes or a bag of dried fruit, it's almost effortless to keep picking, nibbling, and munching without noticing how much you've consumed. And this isn't just about grapes, it's the same with many small, sweet fruits like cherries, blueberries, even chopped mango or pineapple chunks. They're bite-sized, tasty, and come in seemingly endless quantities. Let me explain why this is a big deal. When you eat fruit in large amounts, especially these small ones loaded with natural sugar, your blood sugar spikes. Remember how we talked about insulin resistance earlier? Repeated blood sugar spikes from overeating fruit can lead to chronic inflammation, damage to your blood vessels, and eventually, weakened muscles and poor circulation. And the legs, because they're so far from your heart, feel the impact first. What starts as a little heaviness or mild cramps can turn into more serious problems like numbness, weakness, or even painful joint inflammation. Now, I've seen many patients come in convinced they're eating healthy because they swapped their afternoon cookies for a handful of fruit. But they still complain about tired, weak legs. When I ask about portion sizes, it turns out they're eating far more fruit sugar than they realize. Here's another story. George, a 75-year-old retired school teacher, told me he eats a banana every day as part of his breakfast. Simple, right? But when I dug deeper, he admitted he often eats 2 bananas plus a handful of raisins every morning because it keeps him full. What he didn't realize is that he was consuming the equivalent sugar of several candy bars in one sitting, causing his blood sugar to roller coaster and his leg muscles to weaken over time. It's important to recognize that portion control isn't just about weight, it's about protecting your circulation, your joints, and your nerve health. The tricky thing about fruits like grapes, cherries, and berries is that they don't feel heavy or filling in the way a big meal might. That makes it easy to eat large quantities mindlessly. This constant sugar intake throughout the day adds up, creating a state of low-grade inflammation in your body. Your body can't turn off the inflammation when you keep feeding it sugar, and your legs pay the price. Let me give you a concrete example many of you might relate to. Picture a Sunday family gathering where the table is full of fresh fruit platters, grapes, pineapple chunks, sliced mangoes, and bowls of cherries. Everyone reaches for the fruit because it feels like a healthy option. But without realizing it, many seniors end up eating far more sugar than they would with a piece of cake or pie. The trouble is, fruit sugar comes with less fiber and protein to slow down absorption. So that sugar rush hits your bloodstream fast and hard. The next day, many report swollen ankles or more intense leg cramps. That's the portion trap in action, showing its hidden consequences. So what's the solution? It's not about giving up fruit. Far from it. It's about being mindful, really mindful, about how much and what kinds of fruit you eat. For instance, instead of a whole bowl of grapes, try measuring out a small handful and savor each bite slowly. Try pairing your fruit with a protein or fat, like a few almonds or a slice of cheese, to slow sugar absorption. And don't forget the power of water and fiber-rich vegetables, which help balance blood sugar spikes. I also recommend paying close attention to how your body feels after eating certain fruits. Does your leg feel achy or heavy? Are you noticing more swelling? These are clues that your portion might be too big or that the fruit isn't agreeing with your metabolism. If you're unsure, keep a simple food journal for a week. Write down what you eat and any symptoms you experience. This simple habit can reveal patterns you never suspected. Remember, the portion trap isn't about deprivation, it's about respecting your body's changing needs. As we age, what once worked perfectly well may no longer serve us. Small changes in portion sizes can lead to big improvements in how your legs feel, how much energy you have, and your overall mobility. Finally, a little wisdom from the seniors I've met over the years. Many of them find joy in just enough. Enough fruit to enjoy the flavor and benefits, but not so much that it causes harm. That balance is the key to staying strong and independent for years to come. So, before you reach for that second bowl or that extra handful, pause and ask yourself, is this portion helping my legs stay strong? Or is it part of the trap that's slowly wearing them down? Your legs, and your future self, will thank you. So, after spending years researching and working closely with seniors, I truly believe that understanding these hidden traps, like how sugars affect our circulation and how easy it is to overeat healthy fruits, is absolutely key to keeping your legs strong and your body feeling great as you age. It's not about giving up the foods you love, but about making smarter choices and listening to your body's unique needs. I'd love to hear what you think. Have you noticed any changes in your energy or leg strength related to what you eat? Drop a comment below and share your experience or questions. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips to help you live your healthiest, happiest life. Thanks for watching, and take care of those legs, you deserve it.